Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for the MTV show Sweet and Vicious. So this is a pilot I was able to see at New York Comic Con. I also have interviews from the cast and the writers of the show coming up very soon, so look forward to that. But I wanted to talk about the show. Of course, I'm going to try to avoid spoilers just because it is an advanced review, and this is actually the first time like an audience was able to see the show. So what is this show about? Like I said, it is an MTV show, and it's about this college, and it opens up with this girl vigilante going against this guy, and you learn a little bit about her character. She's a sorority sister, but there's definitely a lot of layers of why is she this vigilante. And then there's another character, Ophelia, who has green hair. She's a stoner, she's a hacker, and she's sarcastic. So you see that these two characters are polar opposites, but something brings them together, and they kind of become vigilantes together. Now that's going to be developed a little bit more throughout the season. That's actually the show overview, so that's not a spoiler. But there is something that brings them together, which was shocking and kind of dark for the show, which I was surprised by. So that was interesting. And we're going to see how these characters kind of interact with each other and become these vigilantes for the college, and especially for sexual abuse. There are other supporting characters too. We have the sorority sisters at Julie's sorority, so you got some of those characters. But then you have two male characters who seem like nice guys, especially with a lot of guys who aren't great, and especially because they're dealing with sexual abuse in this show. So it's an interesting, diverse cast, actually, which I really enjoyed. So what I think of the overall show, I will say I was really surprised by it. I was really excited to see it either way, because I just really am a sucker for vigilante stuff, obviously, but also like kind of young adult type shows. I was excited for it. It looked fun, and it was more than that. I feel if you like Kick-Ass, it has a vibe of that. And what I really liked about the show is that it's not really a show on television right now. I feel like, especially like shows that start out in high school and then move on to college, there aren't a lot of shows that represent college students. I mean, you had shows like Felicity and things like that, but there's not really a show currently on that represents that. And a lot of times when you see college shows, it's because the high schoolers grew up and they're like, oh no, what do we do? I guess we put them in college. So you never really start out a show in college. It's kind of rare. Now you're seeing some other shows dabble into it, like I think Stitcher's on Freeform, that's based in a college setting, but it's not really dealing with a college. Here, that's the setting, and I really love how the writer and one of the executive producers said during the panel, the sorority is Gotham in so many ways. It's a college, but it's a hyper version of college, dealing with situations that are very real, and they really, again, deal with these situations that are very real, like sexual abuse, in a really good way, and I'm excited to see more of that. And obviously the shining moment of this show is the two girls interacting with each other. Their humor bouncing off each other was really well done. Now, the little nitpicks I had, and this is more just because it's a pilot, and I'm sure it's going to improve as the show goes on. I will say when the characters, Julie and Ophelia, were separate, I felt like Julie's character had some weakness when she was separate, because she has this timid type character, which works because you're seeing this contrast of this timid type character is also a ninja, who is a vigilante. So it's kind of a cool contrast, but it's also kind of hard to relate to her in some scenes when she's by herself. And I'm hoping she'll develop as a character by herself as the show goes on. And my other nitpick, again, very small, and this is easy to fix as the show goes on, is some editing problems with the fighting scenes. There was one scene, which I can't go into too much because it is a spoiler, but our vigilante gets hit, and it was a weird edit. I'm like, wait, what happened? So some of the editing, especially during the fighting scenes, could be better. But honestly, the fighting scenes were pretty good. I did enjoy it. And again, the best part of this show the balance between the two girls, but also the humor. You're gonna find yourself laughing out loud. There's this one scene of something big happens in the show, and the two leads are singing Defying Gravity for a good 2 minutes, and it's hilarious, and it sneaks up on you, the humor. So it doesn't feel corny, which I was really, really nervous about with this show. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just gonna be a really corny MTV show. I will say in some ways it does feel like an MTV show, but like, you know, they cover up the cursing and stuff, but in a lot of ways I feel like it's sophisticated, and it's tackling you know, a dark subject in an interesting way, in a new way. So, and especially because, you know, I know you guys are comic book fans on my channel. If you're a comic book fan and you're looking for a new type of show like Scott Pilgrim, you know, kick-ass type vibe, I really recommend this show when it comes out in November. Like I said, pleasantly surprised by it, and it got me hooked. I'm really excited to see more of it. I think the show has a lot of potential, not just to hook the MTV audience, but also to hook the comic book audience that that, you know, has that genre in the show, and I feel like we haven't really seen that since Teen Wolf, and Teen Wolf is ending. I feel like this could be kind of a cool predecessor, even though different from Teen Wolf, of course, but a cool predecessor to that show, and bringing in not just the MTV audience, but other audiences also. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I totally recommend this show, and definitely spread the word. I really want to see this show succeed. So this is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.